Hello and welcome back to the Empower Lancaster Basic Training Series. My name is Christopher Thomas. I am the Data Compliance Analyst and HMIS Lead with the Office of the Lancaster County Homelessness Coalition. In previous videos, we've talked about how to access Empower Lancaster, how to find clients, how to enroll clients. In this video, we'll talk about some of the features of the case management menu in Empower Lancaster, specifically services. So, for context, we are currently in our default role as case manager. We are looking at the client for whom we want to enter services. We've already enrolled our client using the instructions from the last video in our program. Now, what remains to be done is to enter services when services have been performed with or for this client. In Empower Lancaster, we use the case management menu and services to do this. Here, you will see a list of every service entered for this client, when it was entered, what program that service was entered under, the name of the service, how it's measured, the number of units of that service entered. You'll also see who created that service. So for a number of different reasons, it is very important that we enter services to Empower Lancaster. Billing is one of the primary reasons that we need this. Most contracts with the Office of the Coalition are based on the number of units of time spent working with a client. In Empower Lancaster, we capture this with the case management service. Every quarter hour of time spent working with a client or for a client is 1 unit. And at the end of the month, your organization, depending upon the program type, will be billing based on the number of units of service. But there's other possibilities too. Some programs bill by the bed night, for instance, for emergency shelter. Others bill by the day shelter service. These are all services that are entered to Empower Lancaster using the same method. And doing so is pretty straightforward. So we've already gone to case management and services. All that remains to be done now is to click Add New here in the top right corner of the screen. And here we will select which program we would like to enter a service for. Empower Lancaster then loads the list of services associated with that program. And you are able to select which of these you would like to enter. You'll be able to set what date that service took place on. You will still see how it's being measured, and you'll have the opportunity to say how many of those were performed or how many referrals were made. Services are very flexible in terms of how they work, and we can add new services. We can change the wording of services. We have a lot of flexibility in terms of how this works. But we do have a standard list by program type. And for every program type, you will have a case management service that you can use to capture time spent. So first, we're going to enter a case management service for Christopher. It was performed on Tuesday, the 29th. It was 1 hour of service. So we're going to enter 4 units and save. And you'll see a new row will appear here. Down here at the bottom, this is going to be in reverse chronological order. So that 829 is the oldest service, so the bottom of the list. We can enter that under the outreach enrollment. And here are the rest of those details too. Now, there are other types of services in Empower Lancaster that you might also use to describe your work. Here are some examples. If your agency has spent money for client financial assistance and you need to apply for reimbursement from this office, these are services that you would use to record the amount of money spent and request reimbursement. So again, let's say on Tuesday the 29th, there was client financial assistance spent for Christopher. It was spent for a medical need, and the amount in this box was $12. We see here that the system knows it's in dollars. You have the opportunity to enter the number of dollars here, and now all we need to do is save. And again, here we see on the 29th what we just entered. This is also true for other types of actions, such as employment counseling, housing advocacy, life skills counseling, moving assistance, and the whole group of these for referrals. So if a client is referred to Union Community Care for medical service, you want to make sure that you enter one unit of referral medical on the day that that took place. This is also a good opportunity to point out that you can enter multiple of these at the same time. So what we call a multi-select. You'll just need to set these same options for every one of those that you enter and save. In the support section of Empower Lancaster, you'll be able to download a list of all of the services by program type, as well as a brief definition for each. Your director or supervisor should also be able to supply that to you from this office if you ask for it. Like I said, the services in Empower Lancaster can be changed if your program or your program type needs to capture some activity being performed that you don't see an option in here for. So if you have questions about what services are here, what services could be added, that's something to email this office about. So you can email me at cthomas@lchra.com, and we can talk about what might be useful for you to have in here. So again, in summary, to reach the services screen, client does have to have an open enrollment for the program that you want to enter services for. You'll go to case management, services, and from here you'll click add new. Again, services are how billing is performed for essentially all program types. It really is just a question of what service is being used. So like I said, for most programs, billing takes place based on quarter hours of case management, but other programs might have specific services that they base their billing on. You can refer to your contract if you have questions about what we're looking for. That should be in Appendix B of your contract. Should describe what billing is based upon. One thing I want to point out while we're here is when you see this gear icon, that is almost always going to give you an opportunity to edit. So in this case, one potential issue could be that maybe when I entered this service, I mistakenly entered it for 9/3. It actually took place on 8/29. I want to include this service with my billing for the month of August. Bad example. Imagine it's the case management, right? We want to get our billing in for August. I mistakenly entered that for September. Before I send my invoices and service report in, to correct this, I could go in, click the gear, click edit service, and change the date when that service was entered to fix that. So we'll just pick a different day. Let's say it was a week earlier. Let's save. And now we see our 8/22 outreach case management is saved.